What if I told you that the most dangerous thing you do all day happens in the first 25 seconds after your alarm goes off? Not at the dinner table, not on the highway, in your bedroom, before your feet even touch the floor. New research shows that one specific morning habit, something almost every American over 60 does without a second thought, increases the risk of a fatal cardiac event by up to 40%. It's not smoking, it's not what you eat, and your doctor has almost certainly never brought it up. Stay with me, because later in this video, I'm going to give you a 90-second protocol so simple, so completely free, that a study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association found it reduced early morning cardiac events by up to 62% in adults over 60. 62% for something that costs nothing and takes less time than brushing your teeth. My name is Dr. Markus Dexter. I've spent over 20 years watching what happens when hearts fail, and watching the same preventable morning sequence repeat itself in patients who felt completely fine the night before. Today, that stops with you. Before I name the habit, you need to understand what's happening inside your body the moment you begin to wake up, because without this, the danger makes no sense. While you sleep, your body runs in a kind of low-power mode. Heart rate slows, blood pressure drops, your nervous system goes quiet. It's the only genuine rest your heart gets in a full 24 hours. But here's what most people never know. The moment your brain starts waking up, even before your eyes open, even before your alarm sounds, your body begins flooding your bloodstream with two stress hormones, cortisol and adrenaline. They start rising roughly 60 minutes before you're fully conscious. By the time you reach over to silence that alarm, they are already surging. Those two hormones do three things to your heart, almost simultaneously. Your heart rate jumps, your blood pressure rises, and your blood vessels constrict, all of it within seconds. When you were 35, your cardiovascular system handled that surge without missing a beat. The vessel walls were elastic. The system adapted instantly. After 60, the picture is very different. The arteries are stiffer, the response is slower, and in many people who feel completely healthy, there is plaque silently built up inside those vessels. Plaque they don't know is there. When that hormonal wave hits a vessel wall carrying vulnerable plaque, the force can crack it. A cracked plaque triggers clotting. A clot in a coronary artery is a heart attack. A clot in a cerebral artery is a stroke. That is not a worst-case scenario. That is the mechanism. That is what I have seen more times than I can count. This is why studies published in the American Heart Journal show that heart attacks are 40% more likely to occur between 6 and 10 in the morning than at any other time of day. It is not random. It is biology. And what you do in those first 25 seconds either helps your heart manage that surge or tips it over the edge. I want to tell you about a patient I'll call Douglas. Douglas was 68, retired school principal. A careful man, the kind who took his blood pressure medication every morning without fail, walked 30 minutes 5 days a week, and never missed his annual checkup. His last cardiogram was clean. His doctor told him he was in excellent shape for his age. One Tuesday morning, Douglas woke up, silenced his alarm, and did what he'd done every single morning for 15 years. He sat up fast, swung his legs off the bed, and stood up immediately. He took 3 steps toward the bathroom. That was as far as he got. His wife found him on the floor. When I reviewed Douglas's case, everything about his cardiovascular profile said he was managing his health responsibly. His medications were right. His fitness was above average for his age. His diet was reasonable, but no one had ever told him about the 25 seconds. We'll come back to Douglas, because what came out of that recovery room conversation, the one thing his cardiologist had never once mentioned, is the reason I'm making this video today. Here is the habit. The one specific thing that most people over 60 do every single morning that silently loads the gun. They stand up immediately. Alarm goes off. Vertical in under 3 seconds. It feels like nothing. It's completely ordinary. And for your heart, at that precise moment in the morning, it is one of the most dangerous things you can do. Here's the science. When you're lying flat, blood is distributed relatively evenly throughout your body. The moment you stand, gravity pulls a significant volume of blood downward, toward your legs, your abdomen. Your heart must respond instantly to maintain pressure to the brain. In a younger person, that reflex is fast and precise. The vessels constrict, the heart rate adjusts, pressure is maintained within seconds. In adults over 60, that reflex slows down. Blood pressure can drop 15, 20, sometimes 30 points within seconds of standing. Doctors call this orthostatic hypotension. You may know it as that gray, dizzy, foggy feeling when you first get up in the morning. Many people over 60 experience it and assume it's normal. It is not normal. It is a warning. And here's where it connects directly to everything I just told you. When blood pressure drops suddenly after standing, the heart compensates, aggressively spiking its rate and output to restore circulation. In a heart already under hormonal stress, already working against stiffer arteries and thicker blood, that spike can trigger an arrhythmia. It can crack a plaque. In the worst cases, it sends someone to my table. Standing up in under 3 seconds is the 25-second mistake, and it costs absolutely nothing to fix. There's a second reason the morning is uniquely dangerous, and this one surprises almost every patient I tell it to. After 7 or 8 hours of sleep, you are dehydrated. Every single morning, without exception. You haven't had a drop of water all night. You've been breathing steadily for hours, losing moisture with every breath. By the time your alarm goes off, your blood is measurably thicker and more viscous than it was when you fell asleep. Think of your heart as a pump and your arteries as pipes. When the fluid in those pipes is thin and free-flowing, the pump works easily. When the fluid thickens, every single beat costs more. And thicker blood doesn't just increase the workload, it clots more easily. Research confirms that clotting factors are at their highest activity levels in the early morning hours. This is one of the primary reasons strokes and heart attacks cluster so heavily in that 6 to 10 a.m. window. The hormonal surge, the thick blood, the stiff vessels, all arriving at the same moment. A triple threat for any heart over 60. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple. 1 glass of water, room temperature, before anything else. Before your coffee, before your medication, before you check your phone, taken before your feet touch the floor. That single action begins thinning the blood, reducing clotting risk, and gives your cardiovascular system something to work with before the demands of the day begin. This is the protective habit I mentioned at the start of this video, the one the JAMA research found reduced early morning cardiac events by up to 62% in adults over 60. 1 glass of water, taken lying down or sitting, before you stand. That's it. Quick question before we continue. Do you drink water first thing in the morning, before coffee, before anything else? Drop a yes or a no in the comments right now. I read every single one. Now let me give you the complete solution. I call it the 90-second heart protocol. No equipment, no cost, nothing to buy. Just a sequence that takes 90 seconds and protects your heart every single morning. Step 1, don't move yet. The moment your alarm goes off, stay exactly where you are. Take 3 slow, deep breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth, fully and deliberately. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the calming branch, and begins to counteract the cortisol surge before it peaks. 3 breaths, 15 seconds. One of the most powerful cardiovascular protective tools that exists, and it is completely free. Research on slow, deliberate breathing immediately upon waking shows measurable reductions in morning blood pressure spikes in adults over 60. This is your 25-second intervention. Step 2. Drink the water before you stand. Tonight, put a full glass of water on your nightstand. Before your feet touch the floor tomorrow morning, drink it. Room temperature, the whole glass. This is non-negotiable. You now understand why. Thin the blood. Reduce the clotting risk. Give the pump better fluid to work with. Step 3. Sit before you stand. Roll to your side. Push yourself up slowly. Sit on the edge of the bed with your feet hanging. Rotate your ankles in slow circles, 5 times in each direction. This activates the calf muscle pump and pushes pooled blood back up toward the heart, gradually restoring blood pressure. Sit for a full 30 seconds, then rise slowly, pressing through your legs. Stand still for 10 seconds before you take your first step. 3 breaths. 1 glass of water. Sit before you stand, 90 seconds, starting tomorrow morning. One important note, if you're currently taking a diuretic, a water pill for blood pressure, please listen carefully. Diuretics work by flushing excess fluid from the body through the kidneys. They're effective and widely prescribed. But when the kidneys flush fluid, they also flush magnesium. And magnesium regulates the electrical signals that control your heartbeat. When magnesium drops quietly, which it does in a significant number of people on long-term diuretics, the heart becomes electrically unstable, palpitations, erratic rhythm, arrhythmia, and it tends to surface hardest in the morning, precisely when the heart is already under its greatest stress. At your next appointment, ask your doctor to check your magnesium level. It's a simple blood test, 2 minutes. That information could be genuinely important for your heart. I promised I'd come back to Douglas. After he stabilized, I sat with him and his wife and we talked through his morning routine. He described it exactly as I expected. Alarm, immediate movement, straight to vertical. Every morning for 15 years, nobody had ever questioned it. We made one change before he went home. A glass of water on the nightstand. 3 breaths before moving. Sitting on the edge of the bed before standing. 6 months later, he came in for his follow-up. His morning blood pressure readings, which his wife had been carefully tracking at home, had stabilized significantly. The dizziness he'd always dismissed as normal, gone. His cardiologist had noticed the improvement and asked what had changed. Douglas told him, "I stopped standing up fast." In the corridor afterward, Douglas asked me why no one had ever mentioned this before. I didn't have a satisfying answer. But I told him what I'll tell you now. The information exists, the research exists, and the habit itself costs nothing and takes 90 seconds. It simply needs to reach the right people before the morning it matters most. You are that person. And now you have it. Let's bring it together. The morning is the most dangerous window of the day for your heart after 60. Cortisol and adrenaline surge before you're fully awake, driving up heart rate, blood pressure, and vessel constriction all at once. Your blood is at its thickest, your arteries at their stiffest, and standing up immediately adds a sudden pressure drop that forces an already stressed heart to compensate hard. The fix: 3 breaths before you move, 1 glass of water before you stand, sit on the edge of the bed for 30 seconds before rising slowly. Your 90-second heart protocol, starting tomorrow. Here's what I'm asking you to do today. Put a glass of water on your nightstand tonight. Just that one thing. The rest will follow. Which part of this surprised you most? Tell me in the comments. I read everyone. And if this gave you something you needed, share it. There is someone in your life who wakes up every morning doing exactly what Douglas did. This video might reach them before the morning it matters. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Every week I bring you honest, research-grounded information about what your body needs after 60. The kind of information I wish every patient had before they ever ended up in front of me. Take care of your heart. It has been working for you every minute of every day without asking for a single thing in return. Give it 90 good seconds tomorrow morning. It is more than a fair trade.